predictions. I lied to the people over on YouTube. My name is Dreadbread. Welcome to the Space Monkey Mafia. We're pants for the enemy. We're still going at it. We're still chugging out content for the Warhammer Day preview of 2023. We just got done with the new kill team. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out the last video. You'll see Striking Scorpions, which are the big reveal about that. Kind of a mixed bag for me, just because the poses are a bit weird, but they said you can repose them in many different ways, which is very cool. I do like seeing these old models down here, down below. You got your old Space Marines and some very old cool Marines. You got this guy here, which I really liked. I really like the lore for these guys, but they changed the lore. I don't even know if you guys can see that. See what I'm pointing at now down here. But it is an old Corn Marine. It's very cool. And then you just have some very cool miniatures down below. Let's see what this new thing is. I've been rambling on way too long. We're going to show off some old world stuff. Just as a disclaimer, this will be muted, and the reason why it's going to be muted is because I don't want to deal with false copyright ID claims from people that want to make off of my channel. Let's go. Let's see what this is. I bet it's Bretonnian stuff. Yep, more Bretonnian stuff. I called it. Bretonnians. Always Bretonnians. Warriors of Bretonnia, prepare for battle. Ooh. Are these guys plastic or are they resin? I have a feeling these guys are going to be more resin. But I do like these guys. These guys are pretty cool. He's going to sound the bugle, and they're all getting ready. They've got your bowmen. Bowmen ready. Sword boy. You got the guy with the horn. You got him on horses. Hopefully these horses are... Ooh, Pegasus dude. Kind of Pegasus. Very cool. So lately, a lot of people have been pointing out, and myself included, that the horses have been oddly proportioned. Not only the horses, but also some of the other animals that have been released with the dogs and things like that. Don't know what's going on in that department, but you've got a guy on a Pegasus, and he's very well painted. Got his Lance of Doom, his horse, that other guy with his Pegasus, the very nice mustache. Very awesome. I would love to see another faction, though, besides the Bretonnians from Old World. I'm just saying, we want to see them. The heroes of Bretonnia ride again. Find out more.
Old World, awesome. The heroes of Bretonnia ride again. That is awesome. That is so cool.
Yes.
So, Eddie, tell us about some of these glorious new miniatures we've got.
Duke on Royal Pegasus. That's neat. I bet this guy's can be decked out a couple of ways. I'm hoping these are the plastic miniatures and not the resin miniatures. I know they said a lot of this stuff was going to be resin, but they also said some of it was going to be plastic. People like to work with plastic. Some people like to work with resin. Resin can be very kind of fickle. I know there's people that don't like Forge World resin just because in the bad day wasn't too good. I've heard it's gotten a little bit better, but I've also heard that it's very tricky to work with. Especially if you have to cut things down and file things down. Resin can be very toxic, and you don't want to be breathing in that stuff. But anyway, I'm enough rambling. Let's go see this guy on the Pegasus. I do like his helmet. Kind of got like a Dark Souls thing going on there with the little church thing in there. I think that's supposed to be the Lady in the Lake in there. He's got a very lovely lance that he's going to poke and hit people with, and very angry bird horse. Let's go.
We knew that Bretonnia were going to be part of the old world pretty much since the announcement of it.
That's all you've shown.
With you guys is show you basically the launch range for Bretonnia when it's going to come out.
All right,
we've got a
very
few
nice.
other bits of news about the old world for you today, but we'll start off by just having a look at some of these incredible miniatures. So, Kingdom of Bretonnia, Duke on a Royal Pegasus. Who would have guessed, right? The world's best kept secret. A new plastic Pegasus is on its way, and this is a really cool.
He said plastic.
New, very flexible kit. Basically allow you to put to create lots of heroes on Pegasus for your army.
Yeah.
Pegasus are a very useful thing to put a hero on because in Warhammer, the old world, much like Warhammer Fantasy Battle, you want to have your general on a Pegasus or something that can fly because you've got lots of aura abilities, and also you just want him to be charging stuff early on.
Absolutely, 100%.
So this is a really cool kit. You can make it in lots of different ways. This
Awesome.
one is a Duke. Generally speaking, in Bretonnian society, the bigger and cooler your helmet is, the more status you've got.
That's a lot of status,
and
right
the more
there.
kind of blessed by the Lady of the Lake you are. So this guy has got
cool.
literally, he's got a little church with a statue of the Lady of the Lake on his hat. So he's got to be way up there, right? So This guy is a Duke of Bretonnia, and his heraldry, his kind of that quartered black and red with the axe, has been applied across the entire range for the old world army for Bretonnia. So this is the guy who has kind of inspired that across the rest of the force. The Pegasus itself is a beautiful sculpt. Maybe just jump back for a second there, Raf, so you can kind of take in the whole spectre of it.
Brilliant.
So really, really dynamic, cool. You've got some options there on the horse as well, but it almost looks like a kind of statue of a.
From this angle, it does look better proportioned than the other horse models that I have seen. I do like the wings on it. I do like this model. I'm very happy that they said this guy is in plastic. That makes me happy.
A hero that you'd find
I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people happy.
But kind of living and breathing and leading the charge of the Bretonnian forces. So really, really cool miniature. All plastic, with loads of options.
Ooh.
This is one of the other ways you can build it. So you see a few different changes there. So it's a different head on.
Different head on that guy. Different body too. Different weapon. He's got the nice handlebar mustache going on. I do really like the paint job they did with the wings. It's very cool. I do like that. I kind of like the black and brown better than the white Pegasus.
On the horse, different head on the character.
Different head on the horse too.
Sword, different shield, and this is a baron. So a baron is like your
baron
hero for Bretonnia. The duke is your kind of general or prince or something like that, and the baron is kind of a step down. Still a very competent fighter, but you can see his hat's not as impressive. So
slightly less status.
It's not quite as much.
Still a hat nonetheless.
He's still got a big hat. His horse isn't white either, so it's probably it's probably a slightly cheaper Pegasus maybe. But you can build it in lots of different ways. There's another way you can build it as well, which is as a battle.
For those of you who may have heard that, I have not eaten for a while, and my stomach is grumbling. It's talking to me. It's saying, "Dreadbread, go get food. I will after the stream." Oh, that's a very different style. Another guy with a mustache, no helmet. The standard bearer, very, very cool. Another guy on Winged Horsey of Doom.
Standard bearer. So battle standards in Warhammer the Old World, much like Warhammer Fantasy, super, super important to your army, particularly for Bretonnians, because they give you your kind of rallying point for the force, and they give you some bonuses to combat, and you can put magic banners on them and all sorts of stuff like that. And this is allowing you to put a battle standard on a Pegasus, which is
very nice.
One of the best places for it. Basically.
Absolutely.
You can put it. You can get it where you
really show it off.
You get it where you want it to go to. Not quite sure how you fly with a standard, but it's probably magic. So don't worry too much about it. Easy peasy.
We've all been there.
But yeah, a really, really cool miniature. Really
very
flexible.
cool miniature.
We are almost guaranteed to see some of these in Golden Demon and painting competitions and things like that, because the model is phenomenal. It's really cool.
And not every knight is rich enough to afford
these
it.
guys are
That's right. Not every knight can afford a Pegasus or even a horse.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have been kind of talked about in the lore of Bretonnia for a very long time, but never manifested as a miniature or a unit until this point, is Knights of the Realm on foot. So a Knight of the Realm is is the most common type of knight in Bretonnia. It means that somebody who's gone on their errantry quest, they've achieved a knightly deed of some sort. That might be slaying a small monster or protecting a town. Or
these guys also have silly helmets. That's our height. I mean, these helmets are silly, but that one's got like a minotaur on them. One's got a boar, another chapel. I don't know what that is. Looks kind of like a cake. And they're carrying something. That dude's not having a good time with his back.
Rescuing a damsel, something knightly, and you've become a Knight of the Realm, which means you've probably got a little castle or a keep somewhere in Bretonnia, and you are honor bound to protect the peasants around it. And if your king or your duke or your baron calls you, you must go to fight on crusade, basically. So Knights of the Realm, many of them have horses, but not everyone will be rich enough to afford a horse, or perhaps their horse has been slain and they want to continue.
No.
So Knights of the Realm on foot is a brand new unit with a couple of options. You can either give them these great two-handed poleaxes, or you can give them sword and shield. This is a really, really flexible kit. Yeah. All of the heads are separate. Lots of the arms are separate.
Change.
You've got loads of different opportunities to kind of make these models your own.
Somebody's probably gonna take that head and use it for a dark angel. I'm not. I'm not. Why does that guy have like a weird, like a ballerina on his helmet? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that one. I like that one. Some of these helmets I like, and some of them I don't like. Like I don't like whatever that. Yeah, I don't like that. Um, Give me more of that stuff. Give me more of this stuff, please, and thank you.
Grown.
Mm.
And you can see the story kind of told in each one of these characters
I
because
love those details. On
yeah,
them, yeah.
as a knight of Bretonnia, whatever your particular whatever your errantry quest was, which is when you go off and say, I'm going to be a knight, obviously you got to be royal or kind of noble before you can do it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
once you'd say, I'm going to go off and be a knight, your heraldry is depicted by whatever it was you achieved. So if you slayed a particular monster, maybe that manifests, or if you rescued something or protected something or worked alongside a crusade or something like that, that's manifested through your heraldry. And all of these different headdresses and trinkets and things like that can tell a little bit of a story of your knightly house.
Okay, okay,
And then
that makes sense.
there's lots of other little lovely details on there as well. So this is the standard and the champion for that unit, and the standard again has got that Lady of the Lake, who is like a recurring deity of the Bretonnian forces. Kind of a lovely little shrine there with lots of little keys. So kind of the storytelling through these miniatures is top notch.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely kits though. Really flexible kits as well, so you get quite a few spare bits. So if you've got some of the other Bretonnian plastics, so we'll have a look at some of those in a little bit, which ones are coming back alongside these. But
Very
if you've got
nice.
some plastic Knights of the Realm and you want to kind of mix in some of the new helmets and things like that, you'll get loads of spare arms and helmets and shields and things like that, so you can really customize the rest of your force. We're going to go through some of the plastics that are returning and show you some of those. So Knights of the Realm, very kind of the most common unit, the kind of the archetypal unit for Bretonnia. This is a returning plastic kit. This is the
These guys need an update, my guy. These guys need an update. The horses, again, we're back at it with the weird horses, except for that one. That one's all right looking, but they're very, very stiff looking. Very, very stiff. Ready.
kit kind of out the box, as it were, but you can mix and match this with your foot knights as well if you wanted to. So they're on their way back too. In lance formation, obviously.
Nice.
Pegasus Knights, they're on their way back as well. So you've got some brand new Pegasus characters which you can build up in loads of different ways, and you can put some Pegasus Knights alongside them too. These are kind of, as you'd expect, enormous flying heavy cavalry that can smash straight through enemy skirmishers.
I'm disappointed, man. I'm very, very disappointed. Because you can see that these are obviously older models. They should have done something just to freshen them up a bit. I don't know, but these are. Oof. I have a. I have a feeling that a lot of people aren't gonna be happy with the overall quality of the old world. I mean, it's cool that they're bringing back old kits. That's very cool. But I mean, I I'm praying that the older kits are going to be cheaper than the new refreshed ones, because these guys should not cost the same as the new Pegasus Knights they just showed off, because these have very much aged. They're still nice models, but you can just tell by their poses and everything that they're aged.
And things like that. Harry enemy flanks, that sort of thing. And then at the other end of the spectrum of nobility, we've seen things like the lords and their mighty knights. You've got the peasants and the men-at-arms. So these are
the peasants.
The lowest of the low in Bretonnian society, really. They are the farm hands and troops that look after the castles. They are not of noble birth, but
Human Meat
the
Shield,
knights very
Squad
generously
1.
provide them with some level of training, and they've got kind of hand-me-down spears and shields and things like that. So this is a returning kit for Bretonnian, but this is kind of we get to see them again, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then peasant bowmen as well. So these are
Bowmen.
again, peasants, fairly well trained actually. But lots of peasants in Bretonnia need to look after their farmsteads and homelands and things like that. So many of them practice with a longbow. actually fairly competent ranged unit.
Mm.
If you are a Knight of Bretonnia, it is against your knightly code to use missile weapons of any sort, so you're not allowed to have a crossbow or a longbow or anything like that. So they rely on the peasants to give them a little bit of help. Not that they would ever admit that they need help
No,
as a
of
Knight
course
of
not.
Bretonnia, but sometimes they bring the peasants along just to see the world. Really.
I love the frogs there as well. That's such a
Oh yeah,
nice
Raph, we're going to
touch.
jump back for a second. So
There's frogs on the stakes, just with the drummer there on the left hand side. That is brilliant.
yeah, there is a recurring
I see.
for the peasant command groups where they have a couple of frogs on sticks, which they use to bang the drums.
That is great.
There is traditionally the wizards of Bretonnia, the damsels, occasionally turn their enemies into frogs. So my theory is that those frogs may be the people within the who've angered the Bretonnian damsel of the army in some way, shape, or form, and been turned into a frog. Yeah, it's a pretty grim. Turning into a frog is bad enough, and then being turned into a drumstick is a pretty.
Is worse.
I can't imagine you last very long
Absolutely
as a frog
not.
drumstick.
No,
but
no way.
there we go. With the field trebuchet for Bretonnia is returning as well. So this is originally was a metal kit. If you ever had the joy of building this as a metal kit, you'll know it was not the most fun to build as a metal kit. It's been retooled and reworked in Forge World resin. So this is going to be really lovely detail, much easier to put together than the metal version of the past, but a really great returning kit. Alongside this, you'll also see lots of returning metal kits, and for some of the other armies as well, some other things have been kind of retooled into Forge World resin as well. So there's some great returning units, as well as some really cool new plastic.
I feel like they should have held off reviewing old world stuff until everything was ready to be transitioned into something a little bit better. I know what I'm saying might anger some people because I know some people really enjoy the older metal stuff, but I mean just for the kind of ease of building up and making your army and not having to fiddle with things like with resin or metal. I don't know. I'm getting a little bit scared with what they're doing with this because at first I was really excited with them bringing Old World back because I really do enjoy the story of Old World and the different factions and things, but getting scared now. Getting scared that they're kind of half-assing it.
And some new resins for some of the different armies as well. So speaking of new resins, here are some of the resins that we've already
seen
are on their way for Bretonnia. So we've got Damsel on a Unicorn at the centre there. We've got a couple of Battle Standard Bearers, and we've got a Questing Paladin on foot. But we have a new resin model to show you as well. So this is the Handmaiden of the Lady. This is your wizard, basically, for Bretonnian forces. In Bretonnia, men aren't allowed to practice sorcery for the most part.
It's a decent model until you look at the face. Maybe it's just how it's painted, but do not like that face.
But what happens is that every now and again, daughters of nobility will go missing, and then they will turn up, kind of abducted into the night by fey creatures, and then they will return as handmaidens of the lady with unnatural powers. Nobody's quite sure what their power comes from, or what the nature of the entities that grant them it is, but they do seem to have the blessing of the Lady of the Lake, so nobody asks too many questions in case they get turned into frogs.
Yeah, of course.
So they're going to give you your magic effectively for Bretonnia. And what it does is it gives you a really nice kind of triple style for the Bretonnian force. So you've got the very glorious knights in their very shining armor and gold and silver and very noble. And then you've got the peasants who have got kind of hand-me-down shields and poleaxes and kind of walking through the mud every day. And then you've got the handmaidens of the lady, which have a very different aesthetic altogether. And they're very kind of pristine, pure, life magic made manifest sort of thing.
It's great.
Yeah. But a really cool new army.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much what you're getting out of the gate for Bretonnia. There's a few other returning kits as well that will come a little bit later on. But that is what is going to be launching for Bretonnia when Warhammer the Old World comes out.
Alrighty.
We can confirm today that Warhammer the Old World will be one of the first releases for 2024. So it's not going to be this year, but you won't have to wait very long at all into the new.
I wouldn't have mind waiting a little bit longer if it meant more models that were more refreshed and updated, that weren't going to be stuck in metal or weren't going to be stuck in resin. But I don't know. I'm getting the feeling like they were just going to bring back just a handful of old models to make like a little skirmish game. Um, I don't know. It doesn't feel like they're ready for old world. It just really doesn't. It feels like all the resources are going towards other games, and they're just kind of whoever was left over was put onto
New year before you can get your hands on this, so it's not too long to wait. And then before the year is out, we will have more information for you on one of the other big factions that's going to be launching.
Amazing, exciting stuff.
There you go. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, lovely times. I think that's all we've. I think we've covered it. We've done it.
That's what we got. Yeah,
that's it. That's all we've got. That's all we've got time for. So, what was your fave, Eddie?
All right, chat. That is it because they go and they like to ramble on at the end. Let's see. And they're just going to show off the different models and things like that. But that is it, chat. That is it. We've done it. We've done watched the Warhammer preview for day. Can't speak. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. It's been cool. It's been neat seeing some of these. I wish they kind of maybe they did have a thing at the beginning and they skipped out, but it would have been nice to see some of the just older models up here again. You got your old Rogue Trader model. Ooh, speaking of Rogue Trader and your old Corn Marine there, these guys have really cool, interesting lore, which I wish they would bring back because it's nifty. It's awesome. It's very cool. Got your Drukari. That guy's a very nice model down there. You got Gilliman. You got your old standard bearer there. But they are, if you stuck with it, stuck through my rambling, they are right now. If you go over to Warhammer.com or not Warhammer.com, don't go there. I don't know what site that goes to, but if you go to GW's website and go to click on print demand, they have something special there. They're bringing back a limited hardcover reprint of Rogue Trader. I actually picked one up, so I'm very excited when that comes out. It's going to pop out in November, but you have a very, very limited time to order it. So if you are interested, I suggest you go do that now. I suggest you go do it. Go do it now. Alrighty. We're going to actually switch back to the Scuff Yard chat. Very, very cool. It's been very fun. I'm very, very neat. I'm going to take a little break and then I may come back and I may play some Armor Core. There was a massive, massive update for that. 38 gigs. I don't know what they all redid. I read the patch notes and people were like, it said it basically just buffed and nerfed the shotguns, but it had to do something more than that because 38 gigabytes is a lot. My eyes are angry. My eyes are angry. I don't know why they're angry when my eyes are open. I can do this. I can do this. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dreadred, and that has been it. Thank you so much for coming on by. Once again, this lovely, lovely overlay was done by Benina. Benina is a very, very fun streamer. I suggest you go watch her. Let me see if I still have. No, to paste that, but it should be. Do this. Let me go there. Let me just copy this. Shabluey. Oh. See here. Yes, it'll be up there on the grave. And it will also be in the link in the description and everything and so forth. Thank you, everybody who stopped on by. And I